Just after hearing the weather report and the weekend, I did some yard work. August is always I use this example all the time. If you ever played football, if you did the Pop Warner thing all the way up through high school, college, however far you made it, pros, August is the month that is like weird. Like you didn't know that was summer, right? Because your entire life, that was when you hit training camp. And then when you retire, you're like, oh my goodness, people still go to the beach. Like the pool is still open in August. This is awesome. And it's like, oh, this hot weather can be used as an asset. Right, I can use that to, work up a little sweat and then jump in the pool and feel refreshed, to have a cold drink. Because when you're playing, it's just, that's going to make me sweat through my pads faster than ever. Carolina Panthers had a 20-degree cold trailer. They have like a super scientific-y trailer that they drag in that I guess it's like the new ice bath where just inside the trailer it's 20 degrees. And you go in, stay in for a certain amount of time, and that's supposed to recover you the way ice baths used to, or maybe better, I'd assume, which is kind of cool, right? And just other ways to battle late July and August, which is always exciting because it stinks. It's awful. I was talking about this the other day. Pros, I'm sure it's different. College, it definitely was different. The worst two-a-days were high school. Because between two-a-days, there was no laundry service. There was no drying out your pads. There was no fans in the hooks. All you did was put on squishy, wet gear and go back out there 4 hours after your first practice. I don't think the Panthers are dealing with that. But as we move to football at 4, they are dealing with some of the same things you deal with in high school, which is the counting of reps, which is seeing who's going out there with the first unit, right? When coach is like, all right, first unit, get out there. Jimmy, Joe, Bob, you guys got the first reps. Everybody else is like, man, darn, I wanted to go with the first team, right? The people that are throwing, like if the quarterbacks are rotating through, the wide receivers are running the routes, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because you want to make sure you're catching the ball from the starting quarterback. Like that happens every level. And you could argue it's even higher stakes in the pros, right? Because a lot of high schools, they don't cut, right? So you're always a certain amount of injuries away from getting in the game at least. In the pros, it's like, I might have to get a job if this doesn't work out, right? I might have to go, use my degree in something other than sports if this doesn't work out. So let's look at the Panthers wide receivers. If the Panthers want to start the year with 7 wide receivers on the roster, I think they're good, and I'll give you the 7. It gets interesting, though, if they want to go down to 6. And most teams in the league do run with 6 or 7 wide receivers on their initial 53-man roster. If they run with 7, it's Tetairoa McMillan, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, Jimmy Horn Jr., and this is in no particular order, but it's just the ones that I thought of as kind of locks first. So the 2 draft picks and the 2 most obvious veteran keeps. Jalen Coker, who had a really good year last year. Hunter Renfrow, who is turning heads in a whole bunch of different ways at camp, and David Moore, who appears to be like the teddy bear or blankie of Dave Canales, just somebody who he's wildly comfortable with. For more on Tetairoa McMillan, Bryce Young, his quarterback, talked about the feel for the game that T-Mac has already.
Yeah, he has a great feel. He does a great job of understanding man versus zone, understanding when to get into certain windows, and then also has a great knack for as soon as he catches the ball and secures it, he becomes a runner, which is it's what you love from a quarterback when you can get a 15-yard dig and it can turn into an explosive even beyond that. So it was great to see. We know he's capable of it. We have a ton of guys that do that. Coach does a great job of coaching on that. So it's exciting.
Tetairoa McMillan is living up to expectations. Granted, we are getting the not rose-colored, like Carolina Panthers colors glasses view of that. Like everything's tinted towards positivity. We're seeing the clips where he wins. We're hearing about how awesome he is. Nobody is going to go up after talking to the media and go, Tetairoa ran 4 wrong routes in team today. So Bryce couldn't throw it to him because he was expecting a dig and he got a corner route. Like we're not going to get any of that. But it does appear when, in physical challenges, when the ball's in the air, when a pass is off target, he's doing the things necessary to make the catches. Bryce Young also talked about Renfrow. That's Hunter Renfrow, because Dabo Sweeney was at practice today for the Panthers, watching his old wide receiver Hunter Renfrow caught a national championship winning catch for him for Clemson. Dabo Sweeney referenced that Hunter Renfrow looks like a normal person. Then he puts his pads on and becomes Superman. Bryce Young was asked if that is true about Renfrow, and this is what Bryce Young said.
I mean, I don't think I'm at liberty to say what a normal person looks like. But I do know the football player and the competitor he is. Again, he's putting it on film. He's been doing it his whole career. He's doing it out here in training camp. It's one of the fun ones when you go back and watch the film after this, and you get to see just how he got where he did. It's been fun. So yeah, it's great to watch him compete.
Is it great to watch him compete?
Yeah, he said at the start of his presser he's a little bit sick, but maybe it's more so he sounds as young as he looks now.
Oh, I get like a little squeaky.
It's like maybe a Benjamin Button thing.
I thought he sounded a little bit like Doc Rivers. I'm just out here run a baseline inbound. Get the ball to Blake. No, it's he's barking cadences all the time. How about a little warm water with some honey in it for you? Lots of hydration. As somebody that speaks for a living, and by the way, if you've listened long enough, you've heard entire shows where I sounded like that. So it happens to the best of us. But, silent count's there for a reason. Clap, stop, clap, stomp, go. Like that kind of deal. Most teams keep 6 or 7 wide receivers. T-Mac's an obvious one. It appears recently that Renfro's an obvious one. 7 is it's okay. All right, if they roll with the 7 I said, McMillan, Leggett, Thielen, Horn, Coker, Renfrow, and more, I don't think anyone would be surprised by that. But I also think this is a team where depth at other positions might be necessary. And if you rotate your guys through a ton, 7, cool, which is something that Dave Canales has done a lot of. He's done, there's nobody out there running 100% of routes. Not since we've seen him kind of as the decision maker. I wonder if that shouldn't change this year. Because now, the difference between physically Teteroa McMillan, Xavier Leggett, and some of the guys towards the end of that list that I mentioned is kind of grand, right? It's a big gap. And they're young, right? Outside of Adam Thielen, it's him and Renfrow are much older, and David Moore. But the rest of them should be able to run all day. Right? It's not like, oh, you ran an 18-yard route. Now you need to tap your head and come out and get an extra 40 seconds to catch your breath. They should be able to run all day. I'm not sure I want McMillan coming out of the game. If Xavier Leggett is what everybody's telling me is, and I am extremely skeptical just based on the history of rookie wide receivers that put up seasons like he did as a rookie, they don't often percentage-wise turn into much. But if that was injury caused and everything else is the same and everybody's excited about it, I don't know if I want the guy that runs the 4.39 coming off the field very often. Jalen Coker, Adam Thielen, if they're going to fill that kind of bigger role and the rowdy role, and then Hunter Renfrow is your 4th wide receiver and 4 wide receiver sets that's running the option routes, I think I might want David Moore to be replaced by somebody with depth at another position. Add another tight end. Who knows what Tommy Tremble's going to be when he comes back from the back stuff he's dealing with. He had back surgery. And if you look at the other tight ends on the roster, it's a second-year player in Jatavian Sanders and a rookie in Mitchell Evans and a journeyman. If you want to go find a true vet to play out there in lieu of or in preparation for Tommy Tremble to not be able to carry the full load, I don't think that 7th wide receiver is a place to go, no, foot down, we need this guy. If you want to grab another running back, right now the 3 obvious running backs, Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, and then your 4th-round pick, Trevor Etienne, if you wanted to keep like a Raheem Blackshear, which would also bring some special team stuff along with Jimmy Horn Jr., because Blackshear can do that, can be that extra pass catcher, then you almost have like your true running back in Chuba, your true running back backup in Rico Dowdle, your pass-catching running back / much more comfortable, catching with his hands, getting out running routes in Trevor Etienne, and potentially a backup for that position in Raheem Blackshear. I don't hate that. And then also, you'll hear me say it over and over and over again. The defense needs help, needs depth at a lot of positions. I don't think you necessarily take roster spots from the offense and give them to the defense. I think you move them around in the offense. But I'm not 100% sold on keeping 7 wide receivers, is basically what I'm saying here, despite the fact that it seems like everybody's playing well. And David Moore, I saw the clip, right? I saw it. He caught a touchdown over the middle, little in-breaking route, caught it between a couple defenders. Everybody got very excited. But, what can he do that these other guys can't? What can he do that the younger, bigger, stronger, faster guys can't? And I don't think you keep someone around like that for, he's decent on, special teams, unless he's on every special team, right? If you're going to keep him as a special teamer, right? I always loved that Matthew Slater for the Patriots, who's some are arguing, Bill Belichick amongst them, should be a Hall of Famer for his special teams work, was listed as a wide receiver his entire career. It's like, is this guy he's running the post? He's hitting a comeback out here, split out wide. No, he's down there on every single special team. If David Moore does that, throw all this out, right? If he's on punt and kickoff and punt return and kickoff return and this and that and the other, we can make that work. But if I look at this is the way I'll say it. If I look at the 53-man roster and the wide receivers have McMillan, Leggett, Thielen, Horn, Coker, Renfrow, and then on the practice squad, there's something like Jacoby George and Kobe Hudson, a couple of wide receivers that are there to call up if you need them, that I think are physically pretty gifted. I don't think you're lacking for anything. And if you're not lacking for anything, you can go spend that at a position where I look at it and go, I think you're lacking there. It's cold-blooded. If Dave Canales likes him that much, boom, quality control assistant, put him on the coaching staff. Which is where the side note here, before we move on, it's where the Matt Nagy rule comes from. Matt Nagy, the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs, former Delaware quarterback, shout out to those of us in the fraternity. He was an intern for the Eagles, and they had a bunch of injuries to their coaching or their quarterbacks. And the coaches were like, the offense, you've been around here. You were playing in Europe last year. Can you so he threw the pads on for a day. And then the NFL made a rule saying coaches can't go directly to the roster because
coaches can't play,
because they're like, what would stop somebody from just keeping a bunch of backups in all the meetings as coaches, and then if the injuries happened, you would just snap them into the game. So be sure you're not bringing David Moore back, but then you can put him on the coaching staff.